Well, today innovation is not an option anymore. It's a mandate. Even though a lot of people talk about it, it's not necessarily that everyone does it.
Well, Angela, thank you very much for joining Dukasgobi TV again. It's a pleasure to have you in our studio. How are you?
Yes, very well, thank you. And hope you're doing well too.
I am very well, thank you. So last time you were here, we spoke about the importance of preparing for a pitch. But what should we do in preparation?
Well, in preparation, there's a whole process prior to the pitch. And in my experience of training a lot of different entrepreneurs from around the world and also training Fortune 500 companies in how to prepare for a pitch, I really see that the success rate really relies on how well that you prepare prior to the pitch, meaning all the steps that you have to do in order to collect the right information that are the pieces of the puzzle that you need to present at the end, such as competitor research, of course, benchmarking, but also things like validated business cases and so forth. And again, you'll be so surprised how often steps are skipped and people just go pitch without having the fundamentals in place. And results show in the track records that we've had in investors' pitches that this is really fundamental in order to know the process, know exactly what to do, and in which order to do them as well.
So what are these keys to success for innovation in a corporate environment?
Well, today innovation is not an option anymore. It's a mandate. Even though a lot of people talk about it, it's not necessarily that everyone does it. Because the incubator that we started at Nestlé a few years ago was very successful, and Gartner Research mentioned it as the prime example of bimodal innovation in large corporate, which tells us that actually it is not so common that people or corporates innovate in large corporates. Now, what is important about innovation is the speed today and the agility and the on-demand. And for that, we need to really change not only the processes in large corporates, but also the mindset. It all starts from the fundamental mindset in order to drive behavioral change that really makes the difference on the long term.
You mentioned the mindset there. How do you then go about changing the mindset in a corporate environment?
So what we see in corporate environments, there's a lot of skills training and like on the deep skills, but the coaching is really important in order to lead to a new mindset that spreads out to the culture. And we start with leadership. So I do executive coaching as well in Fortune 500 companies to start from the top so that they can lead by example, by leaving the room for others in their downline or their team to innovate as well. And also the training for the employees that's on mindset, which is very uncommon at the moment in corporates, is very the key in order to spread the seed and to drive lasting behavioral change instead of only a cognitive change by thinking and not doing.
So you say like if a company fails to make a change, they become obsolete. So what is the biggest challenge in the coming years for these companies trying to make these changes?
So actually there's a lot of people who are worried about the upcoming like wave, the industrial revolution, the new industrial revolution. So a lot of leaders that I speak to, I was in Davos earlier this year, and there's a lot of leaders of state like prime ministers, state secretaries, as well as thought leaders who are we're all thinking about what will happen in the future. So we set up actually a consortium called INEX 360, and what we do there is help corporates transition from the old to the new economy. Because what we see there is that the industrial revolution, the new one, and with the technologies that are coming up, is going to disrupt everything. While they used to be in silos like big data, blockchain, virtuality, and also robotics and so forth. Now everything is merging together, and that will disrupt a lot the corporate. So if they want to survive really in a new age, it's really time to look at how can you transition to the new economy and leverage all the technologies in order to find your new growth.
So you mentioned the growth there. How do companies find this growth?
Yeah, so this is also what we discussed in our club of thought leaders. And what we believe is that you need to find the assets in your company that you can leverage in order to platformize your business. Because in the future, actually today already to some extent, but especially in the future, the one who are going to win is not the one who has the centralized power, like the power of capital, how it used to be in the past, but it will be the ones who are part of an ecosystem and are the closest to the epicenter of the overlapping ecosystems. So it's going to be a complete different model, a different way of operation, and what we believe is the first step is to identify which assets you can already use to leverage in order to speed up the growth because the old growth is going backwards, and it's in order to not hold back by the old ways of working. We advise to start actually an entity outside of the core business while still taking part of it and maybe partnering with a consortium like ours in order to collaborate and really speed up by not being held back of the old ways of working. And then we've been talking already to different companies as well as governments in order to set this process in motion. And who knows, next time I come to the show, I'll probably give you some updates about it and how things are going in this transition to the new economy.
Well, Angela, thank you so much for speaking with us. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for watching. If you like this interview and would like to find out more, be sure to head over to dukascopy.tv.